Here we are again. It's one of those 70s movies, end of the movie, roll the credits, soundtrack songs. I think maybe Chicago, or I don't know, maybe the Bee Gees. I think maybe Chicago. I could be wrong. We're here for our weekly romance oracle and tarot reading. I hope y'all are doing well. Right off the bat, we've got a flipper. Playfulness. I'm feeling sprightly myself today. Maybe get out and do something fun. This card always reminds me of like two people in the park, like lovers in the park, stealing away to the little quiet corners. If you can get out in nature and you have a local park in your city, maybe that would be a fun thing to do. I know I like to go out to the park as often as I can. So to recapture romance, allow your inner youthful spirit of fun to shine. So yeah, nobody likes to be, around the Debbie Downer. Nobody is attracted to I don't know, maybe that's not true. I was about to say nobody's attracted to the super serious buttoned up type, but those are the ones that take down the bun and you know what happens next. Take off those glasses and it's anybody's game. So something for everyone. But playful energy does give people an opening to approach you rather than being too stern and shut off and shut down. Let's see what else. Okay, worth waiting for. Maybe something is coming around the corner and you can't see it yet. And maybe you're feeling antsy, but don't rush it because the right thing is worth waiting for. Divine timing is at work in your love life. The worst thing that you can do is get antsy, rush in because you want someone in your life, and then you're wasting all this energy and several weeks on a person that's not really going anywhere with, and they're not really what you're looking for. They're not really in alignment with your values, but maybe they're just cute and fun and you want something to do at the moment. When you're putting your energy and focus on someone that's just someone, period, it's not giving the universe a space or a void to fill, right? The universe loves to fill a void. And isn't that what dating is all about? It's all about filling spaces and voids. So wait for the right thing. There's nothing worse than being in the wrong relationship and feeling trapped and in misery. And the more time you spend with someone, the harder it is to break ties. The more involved you get with someone, the harder it is to break ties. I mean, think about if you've ever lived with a person that you weren't engaged to or married to, and you've spent a couple of years together, a year to 5 years together, and you've lived together. It is an enormous overhaul to then end that relationship and take your life apart and go your separate ways. There's so many things that are woven together at that point. So be wise, be choosy, be discerning. This is the one thing that you really want to be picky about. As picky, don't be well, maybe I'm being too picky. It's this is your life partner you're talking about. This is the person that you're spending all your time with, that you're eating your meals with, that you're talking to. Are they not very talkative and you are? That would be very difficult. Are they prissy and not outdoor oriented and you are? That would be difficult. My last serious relationship, the guy that I was with, was such a priss about being outdoors, and he would say it. He was I'm a total princess. I don't like nature, and I'm a person that likes to be out in nature. I like camping. I don't mind bugs. I don't mind the heat. I don't mind the elements. And so for me to try to be with someone like that, there were big parts of my life that I wasn't getting to enjoy because they just weren't in it. So think about what you want as far as basic compatibility, right? Common interests that make a big difference for you. Lifestyle, shared values, even shared temperaments, right? You need someone to kind of naturally fit with you. You don't have to have someone who's exactly like you, but you want to be complementing each other without having to make a lot of effort to make a square peg fit into a round hole. So just natural compatibility is ideal, and then go from there. What are like preferences? What are deal breakers? What are non-negotiables? And what are minor things that like you could probably be flexible about? All right, keep an open mind. Speaking of being flexible and knowing your deal breakers and your non-negotiables and your preferences and all of that, also keep an open mind. Your soulmate may differ from your usual type and expectation. You know, this is very true because in my life, if I look back on the people that I've actually been in relationship with, I say people, but they've all been men. Like I'm trying to keep it open here. That's what they were. But like all the men that I've ever been in a relationship with, like none of them would have fallen into the category of like the guy that I imagine that I'm attracted to. If you were to ask me like, what are some traits and features that you're attracted to? What are the kind of guys? Like, what do they like doing? What would their job kind of be? And all of that. It's like I never have dated that prototype in my mind, not once. And not once did I meet someone and like start to develop like chemistry and feelings for them and be like, well, you weren't really like the cute Jewish dude I was looking for, so you're out. Like, I mean, we can have an idea of what we find attractive or what we might want to attract, but that's not always who we meet. So be open to see if chemistry is there rather than just completely like crossing someone off the list because they're not like the exact thing that you have in mind. Like I was even guilty about doing that this time around as a single. You know, I was like, finally I'll get my cute Jewish dude who's funny and has a crazy Jewish family. But like that might not be the guy that I end up with, right? And I have to be open to that too. And like the projection I have on this specific person may not like meet the thing that I have in my mind anyway, right? So be open, look for like the compatibility pillars to be there, but like the details might be flexible for you. Like what if it was someone who was open to learning more about like, you know, Jewish practices and incorporating them into their beliefs? Like that might be even better than someone who's like hardcore traditional, right? Because my beliefs are, I'm a Jewish Christian, but I'm also a Kabbalist. So I'm a mystic, but I'm really into like keeping the traditions and the rituals going. And I do mitzvahs, but I'm not like orthodox and like strict. So I don't know, it would be a particularly specific individual that would find compatibility in that, you know, and maybe there's a person that doesn't know that they would be interested in that kind of thing or tolerant to it, right? Codependency. So watch out for codependent tendencies, which would also have it be difficult to wait, right? If you struggle with codependency, then you may find it difficult to be on your own. And I think that it's really important in life that we are able to have at least a time where we can recalibrate and find our center as ourselves so that we know that we're not going right into another pattern where we're falling into that same role again. And codependence is not necessarily needing someone around all the time, but you may have like a relationship dynamic that you're always used to, that you're always like, okay, well, I'm usually this role and they're usually that role. And that, you know, that's kind of like where I fall in. And maybe that is a codependent pattern, right? Maybe you trying to play the savior or the fixer, or I see their potential, I'm really going to grow them into it. It's like, that's codependent too. Even though you're not the needer, you're the savior, right? So there's a lot of codependent pairings and dynamics that we could fall prey to or have a tendency to lean into. So maybe educate yourself on what that looks like, because I wouldn't have considered myself a codependent individual until I learned more about what that was and enmeshment and all of that. And so it made me realize, okay, most people are on a spectrum of this. We're human, we need one another. And if we're not totally aware of what that means, we don't know about how to come at it to like work and develop on those issues. So I would say, I've come a long way and I've become a very independent person. But I don't want to lean into hyper independence, because then that doesn't leave room for a person to come in either, right? So it's a balance. We need to be interdependent where we can lean on someone and they can lean on us, but we can be fine and stand on our own 2 feet at the same time. We want to be able to feel needed and need someone by, we need to be needed by our partner and feel needed by them, but it has to be in a way that you don't need them to survive, right? That you can, they feel needed, but like when push comes to shove, like you've got it, you can take care of yourself, you can self-soothe, you can turn to other sources in your life for provision and for emotional support, and you don't put it all on that person, but you're also not avoidant and blocking them out and being like, I don't need you. There's nothing more like repellent to me than this specific archetype of that hyper independent female who's like, I've got this, I can do it all on my own, I don't need you to open the door for me. I like when they find it offensive if somebody opens the door, or they're like, I can pay the half of this, like I don't need you to take care of me. It's like defensive and it's like over the top. It's like feminism gone dark, where it's like that's kind of like a hard exterior to get through, and like men don't find that attractive. And I don't think that like even like lesbians find that attractive with each other. It's like they like someone who's like open to them, being that, strong partner, right? And like doting on them and receiving that kindness and that affection in those ways. Same with gay guys too. Like I know so many LGBTQ people and their relationship dynamics are really no different. It's like there's always, no matter what pairings you have, maybe even in gender neutral experiences, you have people with more dominant masculine tendencies and people with more feminine tendencies, and they usually kind of lean one way or the other. And when we are healthy individuals, we kind of we go back and forth in those energies, because it's not necessarily all gender related when we come to masculine and feminine energy. Sometimes it's like, who's the proactive person taking initiative, who's sharing, right? It's not necessarily like I'm brute and tough and I'm, frilly and, bugs. That's not really, it's not that simple, right? The feminine is like receptive and receives and is nurturing, but the masculine is nurturing in their own way. So like, say a feminine woman is in her masculine energy when she can't let the other take the lead. It's like, as a server in a restaurant, I can see this happening on dates all the time, and I want to be like, girl, come with me to the bathroom, because it's like a guy and a girl are sitting at a table and they sit down, and immediately the woman's like, we want this and this and this, we want to go ahead and get some appetizers started here, he wants this, I want this. And it's like, girl, give him a chance to be the man and to like dote on you and to like take the lead. Is it gonna kill you if he's like, hi, thanks, and like maybe like doesn't necessarily order for you, but like he tells the host at the front door, like, this is the reservation is under this, like let them walk ahead and like open the door, let somebody open the door for you, right? Be receptive to, if they have a plan and they have an idea, maybe let that be the plan and go with it. Don't be like, well, no, I was thinking of this, and like questioning their every move, and oh, why are you parking there, and oh, this is bad, like let's go over there, what were you thinking? Like, it's like, don't question their every step, right? That's not receptive. That is overly domineering. And it's also codependent, because you're trying to control someone and steer them, and you're not letting someone else like take initiative, right? So that's kind of a codependent situation as well, when you feel like you have to be the mother taking the lead, the leader all the time. It's like, have a balance where you can, dance in and out of roles, right? Okay, let's pull some tarot cards to get some clarification. I really like the Tarot of the Psychic Heart by John Holland, because this is sort of an oracle tarot deck where we don't have all of the traditional tarot cards. This is major arcana and this is the minor arcana, but there are no court cards. And the cards have been adapted to speak directly to relationship dynamics. those in our closest circle. So that's people we love, right? A lot of this is kind of a romantic like flavor, but it can also apply to friendships and family and the people that we have intimate comings and goings with. Okay, so more on playfulness. Feeling alone. So if you're feeling isolated, like maybe just make an effort to be getting out there and being more open and playful. I literally myself this week have felt sort of isolated and buried under the pressures of life. But then like my sister reached out. She was like, hey, do you want to come to dinner Friday? And I was like, oh my gosh, yes. Instead of feeling like, no, I'm just gonna be a hermit and like rest and do my thing. Like I was like, yeah, I would love to go be with friends and family and surround myself with people I love. And then before you know it, like my nephew and his wife were in on the plan. So it was like, oh yay, like something really fun to look forward to. And immediately I did not feel isolated or alone anymore. So let people in. It's easy to get in a rut where you're by yourself and you're not picking up the phone or everybody feels busy. You know, I know even like people who are close friends get busy and they don't see each other for a while. And so it takes a minute to like just kind of make an effort to like keep that going, and also to like not take it personally, but just be there, right? Extend the invitation. If you're feeling lonely and you're feeling isolated, then offer your friendship, offer your zestiness and playfulness to someone out there, to someone else, right? If you need a friend, be a friend. Okay, worth waiting for. Let's get some insight on that. What else, or what are we waiting for? What are you waiting for? Did you guys ever see I Know What You Did Last Summer? So I've got 4 cards that came out. I think I want to pick the top one and the bottom one. Okay, this is really funny. We have 4 of Swords. It's like just breathe. The 4 of Swords is about healing and taking time out to meditate, to rest, to go inward, and just letting it's healing. It's healing card. Maybe it's like recovering from burnout. Maybe it is taking a little bit of time to have conscious, curated time alone with yourself, to do the self-work, to do the inner work, to do the inner reflection. But it's a time, it's less serious and less heavy than like the Hermit card. But it's like Hermit light, right? Take some time, do some breath work, do some meditations. I love To Be Magnetic. They have the whole self-hypnosis thing going where it's like built into these workshops where you do the inner work and you're doing it on a deep, profound level, and it's at your own pace, but it's faster than anything I've ever seen. Like the breakthroughs you can have doing the To Be Magnetic work are deeper and more profound and faster than anyone I've ever talked to that has gone to talk therapy. Nothing against therapists. I think they're great. I've never been able to afford consistent therapy, or else I would totally do it. But I would say if you are someone who maybe is in that situation where you can't go talk to somebody once a week or a couple of times a month, then maybe To Be Magnetic would be an option, because at their highest entry level or their highest price is like, I think $30 a month if you don't have a discount. But I have a 15% off coupon code in the description box below in my affiliate link. If you are ever curious about signing up, you can go to any one of my videos. I have the To Be Magnetic link in my description box, and you can follow that and you will get like a 15% off on your monthly membership. And I think that's what I have, and I think my monthly membership is like $20 or so. So it's one of those things where you have to like commit to the full year, but it's totally worth it. I've never regretted it. I have used To Be Magnetic more than I have watched Netflix at certain points in my life. So, I mean, that's something to compare and like consider. So just breathe, taking time out for yourself, reading relationship books. I'm going to grab this book and show you guys, but Matthew Hussey's Love Life. This is a great like relationship 101. It's not even like the relationship guide. It's like this is navigating being single. It's also helpful if you're already in a relationship, but this gives you like, it helps you bypass the things that waste your time, emotion, and energy so that you can actually work past your self-defeating tendencies in this difficult dating world, to see past illusions and things that end up wasting our time. He talks about like having the hard conversations, understanding that attention is not intention. I mean, he really helps you navigate like the adventure and sojourn of finding love in life, and then also learning to love your life with or without the relationship. So Love Life is the book. I'm like halfway through it. I love Matthew Hussey. He's a great dating coach. He's a great relationship coach. And honestly, he's just a great coach for self-esteem. And whether or not I've been single or in a relationship, I've always watched his videos, and his content is helpful and entertaining and inspiring every week. So you can actually find him on YouTube as well. The other card that came up with this is Heal. This is the Star card. So this is like deep, major healing happening. This is like dreams in life being realized. This is like your love vision being out there and like closer than you think, but it's like breaking those chains, like cutting the cords, breaking those generational curses and generational sins of the generation, maybe like generational trauma, like healing those things so that you can go forward and actually have the love life that you envision for yourself. Now, this could mean, because we're under the worth waiting for, it could mean that the person that is just around the corner for you is actually in a time of healing. And so that might be the holdup, right? It's like, when's this plane gonna land? And it's like the plane is circling the runway, and what is going on? It's like they might be healing themselves. So you don't ever want to rush that situation, because even if you meet the right person, if they're not in a situation where they're healed from something, or there's something that they're still working on that needs healing, then like waiting for it gives you the best opportunity for a successful start, right? But if somebody still has like an issue that they're not quite clear on, or they haven't had that breakthrough yet, and they might be really close, like you don't want to rush it, because having the satiation of being in a relationship sometimes gets people distracted from doing that healing work. And so sometimes it's the desire for a relationship that gives us the motivation to look inside and do that inner work. So that's great. That's positive. That's good news. Now, I just wanted to see what the other two cards that were stuck with it were. It is Balance, which this is the Temperance card. This is about integrating two elements to form a third element. And so in this deck, I would say it's related to, okay, I'm growing, I'm doing the inner work, I'm doing the healing work, I'm incorporating this evolution into how I'm approaching dating now. So I have better relationship skills, and I've raised my value for what I can offer in a partnership, because I am more equipped now as a partner to show up, fully and in a healthy way to a relationship. And so look, it's like these two people are coming together. Now, this can also represent you like finding balance between your masculine and feminine energy, where you can dance between like that taking action and sharing with receptivity. And then Believe and Succeed. So this is Six of Wands. This is about victory and success. So just trust that things are kind of coming into place, but there's just a process that's happening that's leading up to it. So continue your healing and continue, that self-care, that deep inner work. It's like never over, right? It's never bad to invest in yourself. Now, we can have a different our perception about how we approach the work does matter, because you don't want to approach the work thinking, oh, I'm a lost cause, I've got so much work to do, I'm so broken. Like, no, that's not it. Nobody's perfect. Like, we're all here. We're all given a soul with dings and negativity around it, and shells and things that we have to crack through, and we have to expose more of our light. And that's the purpose of being a soul on earth. It's to take a lump of clay and create something beautiful from it. And it's about carving that marble, right? Like the David was always in that marble, but it was about chipping away what wasn't David. And it's about like being able to hold the paradox of knowing that we're not perfect, and that's perfect, and it's okay, and we can still always evolve and grow, and it's always just adding to our light to keep expanding and to keep going deeper and to keep finding more love within our heart and to keep exposing more light in ourselves and keep getting that light brighter and brighter and brighter. Okay, keep an open mind. Ooh, that came right out. Wow. Okay, so finding balance. This is 2 of Pentacles and 8 of Pentacles, so dedicated effort. So it's like as we move into this, 2 of Pentacles is like juggling priorities. It's about finding a balance of work and play. And so it's like holding that paradox. Like we said, it's like finding a balance between who we are and who we're becoming, and loving who we are and having confidence in ourselves, but knowing that we're becoming more. Approaching your love life with fun and, you know, taking initiative. And I think keeping an open mind is like, it's like knowing what you want, but also like being able to be surprised, you know, to be flexible. Have a balance between knowing what you want and what you require, and knowing what your non-negotiables are, knowing what your deal breakers are, knowing what your core values are, but then kind of having like a little bit of open-mindedness and flexibility about the other things. 8 of Pentacles is making an effort in your love life. This is the card of the student. This is the card of the apprenticeship, of developing your skills. Relationships are something that are always a dedicated effort, right? In a relationship, to have a successful relationship, they don't just come along. They have to be made and they have to be maintained. So it's like we have to be having a healthy relationship with ourselves. Well, first, having a healthy relationship with your higher power, with God, is, I think, instrumental in like adding security and a foundation for being a good partner and being able to hold space for a healthy partnership, because you have something that is keeping you grounded when your partner is in trouble or they are having going through a trial in their life. And so you have something sturdy to hold you stable and to offer them stability as an anchor. It also makes you for a more trustworthy partner, because they can, you know, even though the world is unpredictable and people are unpredictable, they can see that you have these core values, and they can say, okay, well, at least this person does value these behaviors and traits. So I know right off the bat that that's going to make them a more higher value person than, say, someone who doesn't have any morals or ethics or standards, and they're just like, yeah, you know, maybe if I get bored with my partner, I'll probably just cheat, you know, or who cares? What's the consequences if nobody finds out? Like, are they white liars and they lie to you and they keep you in a fantasy world of future tripping on things that aren't going to happen. So that's important. So it's like establishing a relationship with yourself that's healthy, establishing a relationship with higher power. And so then you have that relationship with yourself where you know what you like, and you can be interdependent and entertain yourself, but you're working on yourself, and you have high self-esteem because you know how to follow through on promises to yourself, stay involved in your own interests, keep yourself healthy, do the things that make you feel alight and confident. You have to keep that up. So many people let themselves go in a relationship, or they lose themselves in a relationship. And so you want to have that core sense of self so that you don't disappear people pleasing and placating the other. And that causes them to lose respect and interest and attraction for you anyway. So a strong sense of self. Then you've got to work on the relationship skills and like understand, okay, healthy ways to communicate. What are someone's love languages? Understanding the ins and outs of having healthy relationships, and then being involved in keeping those things up. And then you've got to keep the romance alive, and you've got to keep the sex alive, and all of that stuff too, and keep the chemistry going, and understand what creates chemistry and what like dampens the chemistry. Because so many people get into a relationship and they think that it's just, they're just going to be in love forever, and it's just like that's something that should sustain, or it's the honeymoon phase is over, that's just how we have to accept it. It's not the case. You can keep that electricity alive, but it's easier to keep a fire going than having to start it up over and over again after the rain has come, or you let the fire go out and you have to start it up over and over again. So it's better to keep those hot embers going and keep that fire going. And so that takes effort, and it takes conscious effort. And I think that people don't realize that just because they're a good partner and they have good relationship skills, that does not necessarily equate to having sexual desire for someone. That is a whole nother skill, and it's a whole nother set of understanding about how chemistry and electricity works. So you have to be willing to really put in a dedicated effort to have and sustain a healthy, exciting, fulfilling relationship. And not everybody's willing to do that. And that's why people become so complacent and unhappy with their relationships, because they just don't know that it takes so much to keep one going. And then, you know, in the older times, in the olden days, people just stuck it out no matter what, because that's what was done. And it's not necessarily what's done anymore. And so that's why people tend to, you know, once they get over the excitement, it's like they don't necessarily stick with it long enough to see, is this really a reconcilable differences, or is this because I didn't maintain and understand that there were a lot of aspects to a relationship that needed to be kept alive and healthy. So codependency, I love this. And we've got 8 of Cups, which is moving on towards something that's more fulfilling and more meaningful. So it could be that we are leaving behind like a life that has up until now been reflective of codependent patterns, and instead we're moving forward into the possibility of relationships that have real substance, real value, that they can return that value as well as two interdependent people. When you're in a relationship with an interdependent, emotionally intelligent person who is equally enthusiastic about you as you are them, that's a lot more fulfilling than being in runner chaser, or having like an anxious person always running after the avoidant person. Like those are the codependent, you know, back and forth nightmares that we're talking about, that leave you feeling like it gives you a lot of emotion and chemicals that make you feel like you're invested and excited and like, oh, I love this person, I put so much into this. But what you don't realize is that that's not real love, and it's not really fulfilling. It's just that your body has gotten used to all of these spikes, highs and lows, and you're on like the drama roller coaster. And then that has put you in a state of fawning, actually, and limerence, and not real fulfillment. There's no real stability. You can't let your guard down, right? So this is the kind of relationship that could get into that, like, on the surface, boring, stable thing, but it's the kind of relationship where you can sit on a porch and have coffee and sit in silence or talk if you want to. And you don't have to worry about this person doing something destructive or unpredictable that's gonna turn your house upside down, right? Or suddenly leave you or abandon you, which keeps you on edge, which keeps you trying to please them and all that stuff. That's not a fulfilling relationship. It might be an exciting one, and not all excitement is good excitement, right? Some of it is just drama. And so moving on past those immature dynamics to have something that is sustaining and meaningful and more depth, right? So yeah, I think this is good. I think that we're moving towards activity, right? The last few weeks have been very inward. It's been go within, do the healing, but it looks like we've been doing this, and we're on the edge of coming out of that time of that deep work where it's doing that overhaul, and then it's things are starting to shift. The wheels are starting to turn. When I first saw this find balance, I immediately saw Wheel of Fortune. I saw the wheels turning. So activity and action is coming, but think of the plane being circling the airport because they're waiting for the gate to open up. All right, y'all, I'm excited. I will see you tomorrow for our weekend reflection message. And until then, I hope you have a good love life. Ciao. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you got something out of it, then please give it a like. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications to be notified of when I drop content. Like the videos, comment, share them. Anything that you do helps these messages get out to other people who need them. So you watching a video and taking an action on it actually makes a positive difference in someone else's life.